Oh, hey there.
Oh, hey there.
How are you today?
I have a headache.
Me too.
What the what?
And I'm a medicine person. Like, I can take a Tylenol and Advil and ibuprofen and all that, but you don't.
I mean, I can take them. I just don't take them.
I know.
I just never have been a fan. It's probably because my mom shoved me full of meds for my whole youth. I'm just kidding. She really didn't. But even back then, like, I didn't like taking medicine. We always had, how did my dad word it? He said, cool bat and meds, like Cool Whip. For some reason, he said cool bat, or at least that's how I always heard it. So to get us to take medicine when we were little, they would get, my mom always had Cool Whip.
Sounds great.
It was. And she would, and pills were a lot different back then, so they were a lot more chalky and like dissolvey and whatever, so they weren't really
nasty.
Good. Yeah, so she would get a spoon, scoop some Cool Whip on it, and then shove the pills in there, and that's how we took our pills.
Nice.
Yeah, because
Mom.
I know. We weren't very good pill takers back in the day. So
yeah, I don't really remember much about that in my youth, but that's par for the course.
Yeah, you don't really remember much of your adult life either.
I know.
You wake up and like, I exist.
Yay!
Look at me. I'm a real burr. I was going to say boy, but then I'm like girl. I'm like,
I'm a real burl.
I'm a real burl. That was an attempt to quote Pinocchio, but at the same time, I'm like,
I'm dying.
Oh Jesus, I'm killing her with laughter.
Oh my gosh.
So hey, real burl. My bad.
Well, so I'm really good at taking pills now because I can take like a whole handful in one gulp, if you will. I have to have water though. The movies that they show you taking pills without water, that is bullshit.
Yeah, because they probably just give them like a Tic Tac and it fucking dissolves.
No, it's not realistic.
No, it's not realistic at all.
I mean, I would choke on those. Ask me how I know.
How do you know?
I've choked on them before without water.
Experience.
Okay, so I have a new beer.
New beer.
New to me beer.
Yeah.
So this is from Three Sheeps, like black sheep. Not to be confused with
yes,
sheets.
Sir, yes, sir. 3 bags full.
So Three Sheeps, it is a brewery that I've been to.
What did you call it in the last podcast? That was
brewing.
Brewing. This is the new brewing. I'm like,
so Three Sheeps is in Sheboygan, Wisconsin, and I've been there a couple of times, but it's like this big warehouse-looking thing that they just have like a bunch of picnic tables out that you can. There's no food or anything. It's just the bar and then a ton of picnic tables, and then their entire wall of the building opens up, so it's like a patio type thing. But it's very like
which is
minimal.
Cool. It's cool that the opens up and whatever. But I'm not a big fan of all these places. There's so many just like cookie cutter warehouses going up, and whether it's a brewing or a whatever business, it's just like there's no like imagination for your businesses anymore with these buildings.
Yeah.
It's all just like, hey, here's a box, exist in there.
I don't mind the Three Sheeps one because you can like bring in your own food. Like they don't care about that.
Well, yeah, because they don't, sell any. So, I mean, that totally makes sense. But
so the only beer that I remember liking at Three Sheeps was their amber. I think it's called.
Oh boy, I don't know all their beers.
Oh gosh.
Rebel. I know of them. I'm just not very well versed in them.
I don't remember now. But this one is a juicy pale ale called Fresh Coast.
And if you remember from a previous podcast, she did not have a good go around on
Kiwani.
We don't have to rub their name in it anymore.
Oh, sorry.
Or promote it for that matter. Kiwina. Either way, you're going out of your comfort zone. It's not a lager.
Yeah, so we'll see how that works. What do you got?
Just to be 100% transparent here, she has a Modelo at the ready.
Oh, I fuck yeah, do. And it is open.
It's ready to go.
That bitch is open.
It's basically like a chaser, just in case it doesn't go well this time like that one time. But all right, I have a Third Space Brewing. They're out of Milwaukee, Wisconsin. I know of them. I don't think I've ever actually had one of their beers before. But I went hardcore. I have their Infinite Wisdom, which I thought was kind of fitting for a history podcast.
Sure. I mean,
we don't have it.
They're aiming pretty high, but okay.
Well, I mean, it never ends. See what I did there? But it's infinite.
Shut up. It took me a second.
I know it did. I could tell. The dribble had to like, it's my time to shine. Run on the wheel. Or the mouse or whatever it's running around in your brain.
The cogs?
Yeah.
No, who am I kidding? There's a hamster up there.
Yeah, that's what it is, not a dribble. But it's an Imperial IPA, 9% alcohol by volume.
Mine's only a 4.8.
Or so? Oh, it's a higher.
Okay,
that's
are we ready?
Decent. Yeah, here we go. So.
Oh, that was so like in tandem.
Yeah, it almost like shut down my ears for a second through the headphones. That was weird.
Oh, okay. I like mine. The Juicy Pale Ale. Fresh Coast from Three Sheeps.
For being a 9%, you would not guess that. It's pretty good.
Good.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Very nice. Well done.
We have some winners.
Well, I mean, last time we're still batting, 500. Mine was good. Yours, not so much.
So, you ready for a story? It's not really a story. It's more of just a lesson, really.
Oh, you have a lesson plan for me?
I kind of do.
Okay.
Yeah.
I hope I'm ready for that.
I think you'll enjoy it.
I would imagine I will.
It is about how the pyramids were built.
The speculation of how they were built?
No, you're not wrong. Like, there's not like solid proof.
Definitive proof.
Yes, but they no longer think it was from like slaves.
It was aliens. 100%. That's been documented.
By what conspiracy theorist?
I don't have enough time to name all those people because there's a lot of them, I think, out there.
Okay.
Ancient Aliens. I think that's a show on History Channel. I believe.
I know you're right.
You're right.
Okay, so
are you going to teach us how they did the track around the top of it and everything?
Kind of, yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you some things.
And I'm going to learn.
You're going to get schooled on pyramids from Cairo.
I hated school.
I know, but we like history, so here we are.
That's why we're doing it.
So
just because I hated school doesn't mean I didn't like things from it. I liked history, I liked math, and I liked leaving.
I liked graduation.
Graduation was great.
So the pyramids of Cairo were considered the world's first skyscrapers.
I mean, they were the tallest structure in the world for a long time, right?
Mm-hmm. Built 2,000 years before Christ.
Christ was built?
I feel like that's a song.
What, 2,000 years before Christ?
No.
Christ was built?
Yeah.
We can write one.
No.
Won't be very good. I can play drums.
You could write it. I'll sing it.
I could write the drums. I can't play guitar.
Okay, let's move on.
Keyboard. I am not a pianist.
Okay, so the Great Pyramid, the big guy, right?
At Giza.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that one stands 481 feet tall.
Which is funny because you think about it now in skyscrapers that we have. It's that's not very big.
481 feet tall.
I think it's pretty big.
Yeah, it's big. There are 2.3 million blocks, some all the way up to 50 tons in weight.
What is the width of the base?
I have it written here somewhere, but it's a number and I don't remember shit, so I'll let you know when I read it.
I'm going to edit that out.
So, that's fine. So there were also, in all, it was 6 million tons of bricks, which is equal to 16 Empire State Buildings.
Wow. So is that for all 3 pyramids or just
the Great
big
Pyramid?
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Okay, here's the answer to your question.
Oh, hey, look at
The
this.
sides of the pyramid are 755 feet in length.
Okay.
And amazingly enough, they only vary within 2 inches.
Right. Isn't that
They're so
wild?
precise.
Well, yeah, because like obviously all 3 line up with Orion's belt, and
That is speculation, yes.
well, I mean it does.
Yes, but
They don't know if that's the reason for it.
Right. That was the speculation
but it
part.
does. And like how like yeah, what? Well, I'll let you talk because I don't want to like in case you have some of this stuff.
Yeah. So inside the burial chambers, the blocks are so precise that even a credit card cannot slip through.
The supposed burial chambers.
Yes. So archaeologists use dynamite to blast their way through the pyramids.
Which is sad.
I know. And that actually disrupted potential clues on how the pyramids were built.
Yeah, and that's why it's sad because
Yeah.
they don't know what they blew up
And
because
so-
they blew it up.
And so now we're using non-invasive technology.
Right. Well, we have a lot better equipment these days, you know, because they found them how many years ago? Obviously, they've been around for a long time, where these people started exploring.
Yeah.
And they're like, fuck it, blow it up.
I know. So trial and error pyramids were actually built around 2600 BCE off the Nile River.
Mm-hmm.
The first one that they made is called the Step Pyramid of Saqqara.
Mm-hmm.
It's the oldest stone, quote unquote, building on Earth.
Okay.
So it's rising 204 feet from the desert sands, which was a breakthrough in the history of construction.
Sure. Makes sense.
It didn't have any smooth, sloping sides, but instead rose in a series of levels or steps.
Right.
So the first flat-sided true pyramids were built 60 years later by the pharaoh Nufru.
Nufru?
Yeah.
How do you spell that?
Sneferu. Or Sneferu. I don't know.
All right. That is a heck of a name.
Yeah, but his son,
Ooh.
Khufu,
Khufu?
built the Great Pyramid.
Oh, what a guy.
Yeah.
Well, he had people build it for him. He
Yes.
didn't do it.
Yes. And then there were a series of smaller, highly decorated pyramids that were later built at Saqqara.
Right.
So the ancient archaeologists mapped out the location of the pyramids with a lot of care and precision.
Oh, yeah.
They needed a foundation that could handle the 6 million tons of limestone.
Yep.
So they mapped out the points of the compass, north, south, east, west, so that each side aligned with the direction.
Isn't that crazy?
It's so amazing.
And there's like a degree of error, but it's so minute. Like how close they actually got to like true north and all that stuff. Mm-hmm. It's wild how precise they were back then.
So they followed the path of the stars as it rose and fell, and then chose the midway point, and that was true north.
Yep.
They were off true north by a 20th of a degree.
Yeah. Isn't that wild?
What?
Like to be that precise again at that time in our history is just crazy.
And in my head, I'm thinking, okay, if I stand in this spot, where is my local Walmart? That is north.
Or if you look at my house, this room slopes into that corner.
Uh-huh.
This house has only been up for 183 years or whatever. That's been up for thousands. And it's like, yeah, we're good.
Yeah.
But no, thanks, house.
Yeah. So modern foundations are leveled with lasers, but British engineer Dennis Stocks, who is an expert in ancient Egyptian construction techniques, thinks that the Egyptians used water in a sort of channel.
Okay.
So along each of the 755-foot side of the pyramid, they would create a channel with water, which acted like a level. So then they would etch around it, maintaining the water's level.
That's wild.
Yeah. So you've got a ditch, right?
Yeah.
Filled with water. Then you chisel away the earth until the water is level. Yeah.
I've never heard of that before.
Isn't that crazy?
That is crazy. I mean, that's brilliant.
Yeah.
Because the water is going to find the flat surface, if you will, whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. I didn't know that. That's pretty interesting.
So for each 2.3 million blocks, they likely created a type of A-frame that has a crossbar and a plumb line down the center.
Okay.
So right behind the plumb line is a scored line in the wood of the crossbar. Okay. So the plumb line and the scored line should be exactly the same.
Right.
So if you think of the capital letter A, the A-frame was likely made of wood and had a string hanging from the center of the top of the A. And then a weight was attached to the other end of the string. And when the A-frame was placed on an uneven surface, the weight or the plumb string would move the string in one direction or the other.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
What did they call it back then? Because they didn't have the letter A.
Where'd you come up with these questions?
Am I wrong?
Okay, I came up with like A-frame, and I don't know what it's actually called. Jeez Louise.
Well, I didn't know. Just curious. Inquiring minds want to know.
They just called it a level, okay?
Okay, I'm sorry.
Oh my God.
Didn't mean to derail you there. My bad. I sorry.
So the markings on the cross beam of the A indicated how far off center the surface was.
Okay.
So to make it easier to see when the string was hanging straight down, the wood near the string was attached to the frame could be notched out or have a vertical marking. So what they did in place of one leg of the A, so what they did is they placed one leg of the A on a flat surface of water. Then they would square out the limestone rocks until the plumb line matched up with the score line.
Sure, no, that makes sense.
You want to see a picture of it?
Sure.
Okay. What's it look like to you?
It looks like a pyramid.
A letter A.
Oh, maybe it was a pyramid frame back then.
No, it's the letter A.
Yeah, I see that.
With a plumb line. And it's at like a 90-degree point.
Yes.
Okay.
Anywho.
So, over the course of 500 years, 18 pyramids were built. That's a long time. 500 years, 18 pyramids.
Well, I mean, it's not like they were built. Rome wasn't built in a day. Neither was the pyramids. I mean,
yeah,
it took a while. That's a shit ton of rock.
That is.
That they got to move.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they took literally, what, decades to make?
Literally.
Yeah, so.
Centuries.
Or that too.
Yeah. So near Cairo is a quarry with high quality limestone, and they used copper to chisel away the limestone. But copper is a soft metal that can bend or blunt easily.
Correct.
So they're like, how does that work? Egyptian copper had trace amounts of arsenic.
So what did that do to it?
That made the copper much more durable and stronger than its pure form.
Really?
Mm-hmm. And they would use more broad copper chisels and wooden mallets for rough work, and then they would use like pointed
for
copper
the
chisels
work,
for yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So limestone is relatively soft, but in the chambers of the pyramid they used granite. Copper chisels were useless.
Yeah, against granite for sure.
Yeah, and ironworking wasn't around yet.
Right.
So how did they cut granite so perfectly?
Lasers.
You ready for this?
I don't know if I am, because it sounds pretty profound.
They did use copper. What?
It's like you tried to lead us off, but went right back to it.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Did you get like whiplash? No? Okay.
I got a worse headache.
So they actually used a copper saw with no
Teeth?
teeth.
Oh, man. They just gummed their way through it.
Oh, God.
Sorry.
Oh, my God. So how did they cut it using copper saw with no teeth? They used sand.
Okay.
So the quartz crystals in sand gets embedded into the soft copper, and the saw drags those crystals back and forth.
Wow.
And actually does the cutting.
That's weird.
So now cutting granite this way took an hour to cut just 2 cubic inches.
Oh, geez.
So it would take 4 months to just create a sarcophagus.
Wow.
With that technique. Isn't that crazy?
That's a long time.
Like, they would literally, like, just pour salt in the area that they're trying to, like, cut away. And then they had this big 2-person copper saw that would, like, chisel the sand.
You mean sand they poured? You said salt.
Sorry, yes, sand. Where did I come up with sand? Salt.
You're probably hungry, and then you put salt on everything.
I do. Thanks, hubby.
Yeah, your husband really got you into
salt.
Lots of salt.
Yeah. So anyway, so based in the quarry, they would transport their blocks on boats that they built for the Nile.
Right.
And then they would create an oil slick on land to move the blocks.
To basically slide them across?
Yeah.
So I guess I'm unfamiliar with that part of the territory. Were they rich in oil over there? I mean, they have, apparently, if they can make like a oil slick just to slide them across.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's weird. I never knew that.
But I mean, they got copper and they got limestone. Why can't they have oil?
Might as well give them some cake too.
So, as far as how they chose the pyramid shape, they knew it would have to be supported by a wide base and a low center of gravity.
Okay.
And more than 2/3 of the weight has to be at the bottom.
Right.
So some say it's this shape to replicate the way the sun peeks out under a cloud when there's like a resulting triangle sunbeam.
Okay.
So they built the first flat-sided pyramid with a 55-degree angle using a solid stone foundation, but only on the edges of the pyramid.
So it was just basically like the perimeter?
Yes.
Okay.
The inside of the base was clay. As the pyramid rose in size, the clay would buckle underneath,
right,
and the inside chamber started to crack.
That would make sense.
So mid-build, they changed the angle from 55 degrees to 43 degrees, which reduced the height of the pyramid by 100 feet and the weight by 400,000 tons.
That's a lot of tons.
This pyramid is called the Bent Pyramid, and it still stands.
That's a shit ton.
So lesson learned, right?
I guess.
The Great Pyramid was built at 45 degrees.
Why they had the two?
I think they were testing the waters.
Or they're like, well, that's half a 90-degree angle. Let's do that.
So it is considered the most shallow pyramid, but also the only true smooth-sided pyramid still standing today.
Because it used to have, what was the surface they put on it? It's all like gone by now, but was that limestone as well?
It's also limestone.
Okay.
Yeah. Which I talk about here. So archaeologists surmise that once at the quarry, they built a ramp to transport the limestone. So they built a ramp up to the pyramid summit, but what type of ramp? Because they still don't know what kind, but there are 3 potential ways. One is to build a ramp straight to the top.
Which makes no sense.
That would be either really, really long or really steep.
And that's the thing. It couldn't be steep because of the weight of those rocks.
Yeah.
Obviously, guys aren't going to be pushing those up there.
Right.
Or pulling, or both.
So another way is a ramp in the form of like an airline queue line where it zigzags up one side of the pyramid.
Yep. I hope their third one's the one that I saw. And they're it's more recent, and they're pretty sure that's how it was.
A spiral going all the way around.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. They like kind of just...
Like a spiral staircase.
At least the thing I saw, which I don't think was very old, I just saw it not that long ago. They think that they discovered that more recently, kind of thing, because everyone thought it was just a ramp straight up to top, like the first one you said.
Yeah.
And like that just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Because that ramp would have to be like miles long.
Right.
Especially when it gets to the higher, higher peak, I guess. But yeah, the one I saw, it's like goes around, spirals up to the top. And then they kind of work their way back in where they fill it in to eliminate it. Because they're like, well, why can't we see it? Well, because they filled it in, which makes sense.
So the internal limestone blocks were rough and unfinished looking. And they filled the cracks with mortar and limestone chippings. But the exterior blocks, those seen, are perfectly finished.
Yeah, they were smoothed out or sawed better, I guess.
So inside the chamber, the blocks, those were granite, right?
Yeah.
So how did they make them so precise?
Great question. Do tell.
They used 2 dowels tied together with string. Okay. Pulling it taut. They would use that as a level. Then a third dowel in the same size would be used as a guide along the taut string.
Okay.
If the dowel was above the string, they would mark that spot of the stone with a pigment called red ochre, and the builders would find that mark and use a flint scraper to scrape away the high point, and the red ochre would get scraped off with it.
Right. Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Their own little level.
They're on the level.
Here they are. So across the Nile, there was even better limestone, and the Egyptians used this limestone as a type of smooth coating on the pyramids, which you mentioned.
Yeah.
So back in that time, it looked white.
Correct.
It was almost blinding in the sunlight.
Yeah.
So these facing stones sadly have been taken to build mosques and castles in Cairo.
Yeah, it was basically like it was pillaged and used for other things.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
But a few remnants still remain at one of the peak of the pyramids.
Okay.
So they would finish from the top of the pyramid down, and then the ramps would be dismantled as the work was completed, as you had mentioned.
Yep.
So with the help of a contractor, Craig Smith, who has operated and overseen vast amounts of construction sites, he estimated how much money it would take to build the pyramid.
Oh, geez.
$4 billion in 4 years.
They could do it in 4 years? Wow. 4
No,
billion?
now.
That's what I'm saying.
If we could build it now, it would take $4 billion in 4 years.
That's what I'm saying, though. I'm surprised it's still that quick today.
Yeah.
I mean...
The Egyptians, it took them 23 years to build the Great Pyramid.
That's insane. That's way quicker than I thought.
And then they had 18 of them to boot.
Well, over 500 years.
So listen to this. That would equate to placing a block every 2 minutes.
And this is for the 4-year time frame? Or for them?
For them.
Okay.
It would take place in a block every 2 minutes, 270 blocks every single day.
Wow.
For 23 years.
Holy crap.
And then we're going to build another 17.
Yeah, so do you think they placed the last block and the guys are like, look at that, good work. And then the boss comes up.
The next pharaoh's
all right.
Comes
up, looks good, guys. We're going to put another one right over there. And they're like, motherfucker.
Well, that brings me to the workers. So a lot of legends claim that it was slaves that built the pyramids.
I've seen the 10 Commandments, I know.
But they were wrong.
Yeah, that's actually another thing I've seen recently, too.
So it was thought that the pharaoh would never have forced his own people to build year after year.
Right.
And instead, potentially Israelites were used as slave labor. However, Egyptologist Dr. Zahi Hawass discovered tombs of the builders located just in the shadows of the pyramids in 1990.
Oh, wow, really?
There was this little lost city.
Of tombs?
Yeah.
I'm sure people died all the time working on these. So
If they were slaves, they wouldn't be buried near the pyramid.
oh God, no.
And their chambers wouldn't be ornate, which these were. So it was considered to be an honor to be buried there. So they knew they were not slaves.
Did it describe how they were ornate, like what they included, or was it just like...
It was more like carvings on the door frames and that kind of thing.
Sure, that makes sense.
So with the help of forensics, the builders in these tombs were examined. From the bones, they could see that they actually had medical treatment.
Oh, wow.
Their bones had like been settled, like
set.
Yeah, set, yes.
After a break or something like that.
Yes, not settled, but yes, setting. And one even had brain surgery.
Oh, really?
Yeah. and they know that slaves would never have this kind of treatment.
No, they would have let them died because they were replaceable.
So near these tombs, they excavated a new site, which was the discovery of the builder's town. The builders received generous amounts of food, fish, meat, and even beer. Huzzah! And they were considered very important. So let's cheers to that.
Cheers to the workers.
What happened to your other beer? He's on a Leinenkugel now.
I finished it.
Oh shit, I'm talking too much.
I know.
Okay. So they were considered like middle management, but even they had sorry.
I'm like
the middle management of the builders. So like they still had their tiers of management, quote unquote. You know.
Sure. Do you think they micromanaged back then?
They were treated even better. They had tons of fresh meat apparently. So they were also unskilled workers.
That sounds terrible. Do you got any of those unskilled workers I can have? They're not very good. That's all right.
So many of them were working as military service.
Oh, okay.
Who were meant to build rather than fight.
Gotcha.
So the biggest theory of why they built the pyramids was to entomb the pharaohs.
Which is wrong.
However, no pharaoh has ever been discovered, and not a single mummy has ever been found in a burial chamber.
Correct. And that's what, and it's funny because, they call it the king's chamber, and I think there's also a queen's chamber, if I'm not mistaken. But nothing was found in that.
I mean, there has even been literature and hieroglyphics that claim that it was a burial ground for the king, but they've never found anything.
But if I remember right, the pyramids are, pretty devoid of, you go to Valley of the Kings where King Tut was buried and you found his tomb and stuff. There's shit all on the walls and so on, whatever. There's nothing inside the pyramids, not like that at least. So
in 1879 there was a workman that was walking along the pyramids, and he followed a jackal into a hole near the pyramid of Saqqara.
Okay.
Upon entering, he found a chamber where the walls were covered with hieroglyphs. This is actually going to be considered the oldest religious text in Egypt.
Okay.
So these writings did not tell us how the pyramids were made, but why they were made.
Okay.
And they were meant to turn men into gods.
Oh.
So turning the dead into a living spirit. A mummified pharaoh would be carried into his tomb with food, clothes, jewels, and treasures, everything he would need in the afterlife.
Of course, because, you need jewels.
And the Egyptians believed that the afterlife was like this one, but much better.
Well, if you're a god, yeah.
Yeah. So today, the Great Pyramid of Giza has actually lost 30 feet in height.
Really? So has it sunk?
It's
is that
sunk,
what it is?
yeah.
Okay.
However, at this rate, it would take another 65,000 years for the pyramid to disappear from the Cairo skyline.
Well, can't wait to see that happen.
So most of my material came from a YouTube video.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So it was called The Pyramids of Egypt, How and Why They Were Built. And it is directed by Joachim Samson and narrated by Eric Myers. It is very, very, very well done.
Nice.
And I highly recommend it. But that will be linked in our show notes. But that is how the pyramids were built. Isn't that really fascinating? The tools in particular really fascinated me.
The saw, the copper saw with the sand, or salt, whatever you had on hand. But sometimes they put a little pepper on there, maybe some paprika. Anyways,
paprika smoked, of course.
So there's obviously a billion theories about why, how, whatever. Because like some of them. And I'm not going to get this anywhere close to what it is, but it's like one theory is how they like basically harnessed energy through it. Mm-hmm. I don't remember all the specifics. I'm not a smart person, but it's like some of the shit they talk about is like, I can see that.
Yeah.
But again, I'm not a scientist. I don't know. But there's so many just wild theories. I mean, obviously, like we said before, the aliens. Mm-hmm. Aliens did it.
Yeah. So there was a guy that noticed that it followed Orion's belt, mm-hmm. but there's no justification on why they built it like that.
Well, or
if it was just a coincidence, but it seems really weird to be a coincidence because it's like, it's not in a straight line.
No.
The three pyramids are like, one is off center a little bit.
Right. It's way too, holy shit, look at that, mm-hmm. to be like, well, man, we got lucky there. It's like, I feel like that's a weak thing saying it's not a part of it in some way.
Yeah.
Because it's too precise for that. My only thing is like, because, I mean, again, that's, what would you say, when was it built? So, and that's another thing,
it was 2600 BCE.
So they're saying 4,600 years ago, the star skyline is different as well. It moves, it varies, it evolves, whatever you want to call it. So that's why, like, I think there's even a service where you could be like, I was here on this date and so on, and like, I can print you a map of the stars on that exact day or whatever.
Yeah.
But you would think they would be different, but obviously there's still some similarities. Stars last for a long time, and their light shines through for a long time until it just doesn't because they died millions of years ago, whatever. Mm-hmm. I don't know. Just it's fascinating because you're never really going to know.
I know. But sucks. Like just in 1990, they found that little lost city where the builders would sleep.
Where they hang out.
Yeah, it's just, what?
Have you ever seen the movie Stargate?
No.
Oh, it's a great movie.
Is that with Katie Sackhoff?
No. From Battlestar Galactica.
Are you impressed that I know who that is?
I can't believe you actually knew someone's name.
I do okay with actors and actresses' names in movies, but
I'm relatively decent. No, it's with Kurt Russell.
I know who that is. Thank you.
James Spader.
I also know who that is. I like his voice a lot.
Yeah, he's Ultron.
Yes, he is Ultron. And he's in the show Boston Legal, which is pretty funny.
He was also
Dana Crane.
Robert California in The Office after Steve Carell's character left.
Oh, I have not seen that.
I think that was his name, Robert California. That sounds right. I could be wrong.
He's got a great voice.
He does have, it's like a little deeper such.
Yeah, but very like articulate.
Stuart French was in it.
I don't know that one.
He's got the weird face. He was in, what? Was he the Third Rock from the Sun guy? I never watched that show, but...
Oh, man.
I think he was in that.
Oh, what was that kid's name? He's in the Batman movies.
Joseph Gordon-Levitt?
Yeah, Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Yeah, he was on that show. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that was Stuart French was the one in that show. Again, I could be wrong. I never actually watched that show. But basically, the premise of the movie... I really liked the movie, and it's spawned multiple TV shows. And question over there.
Oh yeah, I have my hand raised.
I saw.
What are we talking about again?
Stargate.
Right. So it's not a TV show? It's a movie?
It was a movie first.
Oh, okay. So we're talking about the movie.
And as I stated, it spawned multiple TV shows.
Oh, got it.
You understand?
Yeah, I was drinking my beer. Sorry.
Oh my word.
Okay, yes, continue.
But basically what the premise of the movie is, aliens, this alien was dying. He found this race, humans, on this other planet, not Earth. And to last longer, he put his body, his mind or whatever in his body. So on. But then they had this Stargate that they could transport between two worlds, which was...
Stargate.
Yeah, it's literally in the name.
Star portal.
Oh my God.
Star walkway.
Star bridge.
Star bridge, yes.
Yes.
Star path. Star sidewalk.
Oh my word. What have I done?
Star road.
Star strangle me.
Star pavement.
There's in Mario Kart, there's a...
Star Bridge.
That's Rainbow Road.
Rainbow Bridge.
Yeah, whatever. Rainbow Bridge is what they also refer to as what, like, Thor took from planet to planet and all that. Yeah. But anyway, it's a really good movie. I enjoy it. I actually watched it, I think, like 2-3 weeks ago. I put it on rotation from time to time. However, I will say, and it came out in the 90s. I don't remember exactly what year. But James Spader's sneezing is so fake in that movie. It's really bad. I like the actor. I like the rest of the movie, but man, come on. It didn't work for me in that. Sorry, Jimmy. But good work otherwise. Keep it up.
Yeah.
You know.
You know what I want to watch right now?
What's that?
The Mummy.
That's a good movie. We've mentioned before about that was one of my go-to sleep movies. So
yeah. Brendan Fraser is just...
He's a treasure.
He is a treasure.
I know.
That is a great word to describe him. Yes, he is a treasure.
I've always really liked him.
I used to have a ringtone back when I had like a Nokia phone
where I could like
beeps? But you could like still upload like audio clips.
Oh really?
Yeah, and one of my ringtones was Brendan Fraser's voice. I was obsessed with Brendan Fraser and Colin Firth, and I'm not as obsessed, but they are still very high on my my list of favorite actors.
Okay.
And Matt Damon.
Yeah,
but I love me some Brendan Fraser.
Oh yeah, for sure. I've liked him in a lot of things. I never really got behind the whole Encino Man, but I've only seen it once, and that was like 30 years ago.
It's a great movie. Let's watch that.
I don't own that movie. I wonder if it's on a streaming platform.
Perhaps.
Yes. But no, yeah, I enjoy him a lot. Yeah. Arnold Vosloo.
Yes, he's very sexy in that movie too.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Who does he play?
Imhotep.
There you go.
Yeah, I can quote that movie.
Oh, so can I.
It's pretty ingrained in the brain.
Crazy, insane, got no brain.
Ingrained in the membrane.
Oh.
Okay, so should we move on to the idiom that you have prepared?
That you have prepared. Oh my word. Yeah, why don't we do that? Floors for most people were dirt.
Yes.
Back a long time ago.
Yes.
Only wealthy people had something other than dirt. Why? What do you think came from that? What term do you think came from that?
Dirt poor.
Correct.
Huzzah! I got one.
About fucking time. Been here for weeks. The wealthy would usually have slate floors. This is the part
Slate rich!
I didn't say that.
Oh.
But, which would get slippery in the winter when the floors would get wet, because obviously tracking in snow, rain, whatever. Because of this, they would put thresh, otherwise straw, fancy word for straw, in a way. They would put that down on the floor to keep their footing, so they wouldn't be all slipping and sliding. As the winter wore on, they would add more thresh until you open the door and it would all start slipping outside.
Okay.
A piece of wood was placed in the entrance way, subsequently creating a threshold.
Dun, dun, dun.
That's why we have thresholds.
Threshold.
Because it literally held.
My mind is blown.
So's your face, apparently. What is that?
That's shock and awe.
It's shock for her, for sure. But I don't know about awe.
Thresh is a type of straw.
I mean, it's just basically
it's another name for straw.
For as far as I can ascertain, yes.
Threshold.
Yeah. So that's where we get threshold from.
That's awesome. Okay. So what is your final decision on your, what was it again?
My third space beer?
Third space, yeah.
Infinite wisdom, which we all strive for, but will never obtain. It was really good. Again, for being a 9% ABV, especially because typically an Imperial IPA is going to be higher alcohol volume, just the makeup of those type of beers. It was really good. I really enjoyed it. I would never have guessed if you gave me this in a pint glass and said, "Here, try this." I would have known it's a pale ale or an IPA. I would have never guessed it's 9%. It was very smooth, very delicious, very nice. So yeah, I really enjoyed it. What about you with your juicy pale ale?
Rebel Kent. Oh, I got there. Three Sheeps has an amber called Rebel Kent.
It only took the whole episode, but
it really did. I knew the word rebel was in it.
Figured it out.
And that one I do enjoy. But this one, the juicy pale ale called Fresh Coast is fantastic. I really like it.
Well, that's fantastic to hear because, your last one wasn't so ideal.
Maybe I should write down what beers I liked so that when I'm like, which beer do I buy next? I'd be like, I think I got the Kiwani one before, but I don't remember if I liked it.
Well, and that's the thing with your memory. You might pick it up again like, oh, this is new. I should try this. And you're like, oh.
And then my taste buds would be like, bitch, you've been here before.
Yeah, why you bring us back to this place? We don't like it here. So... With the pyramids, though, did the video talk about the Sphinx at all?
No.
Okay.
Nope.
Because there's also rumors of that being older than what they think it is, and it was there prior to possibly the pyramids or the Egyptians found these things.
I do know.
Did you ever read or hear anything like that?
No.
Okay.
I do know that when the guy is chiseling out the nose of the Sphinx, that Jasmine Aladdin flew by and really startled the guy.
As soon as you started talking about that, I knew you were going to do something stupid. Oh my God. I can't believe I didn't just stop recording.
It's fine. Everything's fine.
Thousands of years of erosion. It was just
it was Jasmine and Aladdin.
Dude trying to look up Jasmine's blouse or whatever the hell she was wearing.
What?
Those weird pants, those billowy pants. They're like MC Hammer pants before they were MC Hammer pants.
Yeah, but they're historically accurate. I mean, it is Disney. They do their research. That was sarcasm, folks.
I know. I know it was, but I'm glad you pointed it out for Al because he might not have picked up on that.
Is he a believer?
He's a believer.
I'm a believer.
Please. We almost made it through a fucking podcast without you singing, and you ruined it.
Well, I gotta do it.
I just want to dance. Anyways.
I know who that song was originally by.
The Monkees?
The Monkees!
I know.
I knew that.
I grew up on the Monkees. I used to watch that show all the time when I was a kid.
I'm excited that I know that.
I'm excited that you knew a song.
Okay, let's leave these folks.
Well.
I suppose.
All right, buffoons. That's it for today's episode.
Buckle up because we've got another historical adventure waiting for you next time. Feeling hungry for more buffoonery? Or maybe you have a burning question or a wild historical theory for us to explore.
Hit us up on social media. We're History Buffoons Podcast on Reddit, X, Instagram, and Facebook. You can also email us at historybuffoonspodcast@gmail.com.
Follow us wherever you get your podcasts and turn those notifications on to stay in the loop.
Until next time, stay curious and don't forget to rate and review us.
Remember, the buffoonery never stops.